Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all for the third day of our bridge course in physics. So, here presenting myself, Miss Pranoti Ravindra Khavne, Assistant Professor in Physics, Mahatma Phule Arts and Science College, Patur, District Akola. So, in the last 2 days or in the last two lectures, what we have covered up? We have studied first the classical mechanics. So, uh, what in the classical mechanics we have studied? We have studied Newton's laws, then their applications, their examples, and uh, few basic things related to Newton's laws, and then center of mass, and then motion of center of mass. Afterwards, we have studied uh, pure translational motion, pure rotational motion, and then analogy between linear motion and rotational motion. Okay, so that's all about the first lecture, which comes under the classical mechanics. Now yesterday's lecture was about the properties of matter. So what the properties of matter includes? We have studied elasticity, then various basic concepts about elasticity, what is plasticity, then what are elastic materials, what are plastic materials, rigid body. Then after comes various concepts under it, that is what is stress or strain, and their types, and what is Hooke's law, that is Poisson's ratio, what is elastic limit. These all concepts we have studied under the elasticity. Again, a few constants, and then modulus of elasticity. All those things we have studied under the yesterday's elasticity topic. That is that comes under the motion of motion, not motion, that comes under wave, properties of matter. Okay, so in our today's topic, what we are going to see is, our today's topic is wave optics. Okay, so what is wave optics? uh, Optics means something related to lenses, in short or abruptly, something related to lenses, mirrors. And wave means wave nature, in short, wave nature of light. Okay, so this comes under waves and oscillation. So what we are going to study today, our objective is, in this lecture we will discuss few concepts of wave optics. So first will be interference of light, then what is photons, what is diffraction, and what is polarization. Okay, so what is interference abruptly? Interference means interfering. In our day-to-day life we use this word so easily: do not interfere in my personal own matters, likewise. Okay, so interference means two waves or two light rays, they are interfering, means they are disturbing one another, in short. Okay, and what will happen after their interference, what kind of pattern we will get, and then what are photons, what is diffraction, what is polarization, why we need polarization, and all these all concepts come under the wave optics. Okay, so let's begin our today's topic, wave optics. So see, if today I ask somebody to make some interference pattern, so you will follow the method of Young's scientist, what he has followed, or and you will withdraw some interference patterns or some diffraction pattern. But uh, in those days it was a difficult task. Okay, so today we produce interference effects with a little difficulty. And in the days of Sir Isaac Newton and Christian Huygens, however, light interference was not easily demonstrated. Why is it so? Because they lack maybe some methodology, maybe instruments, all those things were there. So there were several reasons for this. Okay, one was based on the extremely short wavelength h of visible light around 20 millionth of an inch, and obvious difficulty associated with seeing or detecting interference pattern formed by overlapping waves of so short a wavelength, and so a rapid vibration around a million billion cycles per second. See, if two waves are interfering, then at those time it was not easy to see their interference pattern because it was of very short wavelength, that is around 20 millionth of an inch. Okay, so then another reason was based on difficulty before laser came along of creating coherent waves. Okay, so if two waves are coherent are interfering, then what's their wavelength or what's their phase, these all things matter. Okay, now we have lasers, which is its main property is coherence. Okay, so that time the coherent obtaining coherent rays or coherent waves was a difficult task. Okay, so another reason was based on the difficulty before the laser came along of creating coherent waves, that is wave with a phase relationship with each other that remained fixed during the time when interference was observed. Okay, so we will now move towards classification of interference phenomena. Okay, so in general the interference phenomena is classified in two classes depending on method of obtaining the coherent sources. So what are these classifications, or what are these two types? First is division of wavefront and second is division of amplitude. So we'll see what is the division of wavefront, what it means. So it means the wavefront originating from a common source, okay, is divided into two parts by employing mirrors, prism or lenses. See, one more time I will repeat it. The wavefront originating from a common source is divided into two parts by employing mirrors, prism or lenses, and the two wave fronts thus separated travel unequal distance and are finally brought together to produce interference. See, first what we are doing? We are doing first making them separate, we are dividing them, and then we are uniting them to create the interference pattern. Okay, and to differentiating them or to making them apart, what we are incorporating here, mirrors or prism or lens. Okay, and finally we are uniting them. The device used to obtain the interference by division of wavefront are a Fresnel biprism, Ladd's mirror, billet split lens and laser. So maybe biprism you can see in the lab, but there's a little difficulty of seeing Ladd's mirror. I should like to tell you, uh, I have done experiments with Ladd's mirror, and it's like a rectangular shape mirror it is, or glass it is, with high width, and it's whole black in color. Okay, maybe none of you have seen yet the Ladd's mirror, but you just please search about Ladd's mirror or its interference pattern obtained through Ladd's mirror, and it's a fun obtaining the pattern or seeing the pattern from Ladd's mirror. Okay, so we'll move to next. What is division of amplitude? So interference phenomena through division of amplitude means what we are going to do here. The amplitude of incoming beam is divided into two or more parts. In the first division of wavefront we have done, its name itself suggests we have divided wavefront, and here we have divided amplitude in division of amplitude. Okay, so the amplitude of incoming beam is divided into two or more, either by partial reflection or refraction, not full reflection or reflection, it's partial. Okay, now these divided parts travel different path and are finally brought together to produce interference. See, in the first division of wavefront also, we have divided the wavefronts in two parts, and then we have finally united them to obtain the interference pattern. And here also we have divided the amplitude, and then finally we have by partial reflection or reflection, and then finally we have gathered them to produce interference. So example like interference in thin films, Newton's rings, Michelson's interferometer, and Fabry-Perot interferometer. So okay, um, so Newton's ring, you will study Newton's ring in the first year even, and see, it's amazing what Newton's ring includes. It includes the concentric circles, right? I think in 7th or 8th standard you have studied what are concentric circles. So concentric circles like circular interference pattern we are obtaining here. Then Michelson interferometer is again the instrument through which interference you can observe, and Fabry-Perot interferometer is a special device. In my days of PG, I have performed the Fabry-Perot interferometer experiment. Uh, and hopefully few of you also will perform in your PG days. But if you are interested, there's no problem if you can Google search it, and make your curiosity a bit or make your curiosity a bit stop for a while. Or if you are more curious, then you can search about it, you can do some experiment wherever it is available. Okay. uh, okay, then we'll move to next. Here I think it is clear what is division of wavefront and what is division of amplitude. Okay. What is how the interference phenomena is obtained through division of wavefront and through division of amplitude. Okay, moving to next. So what are the conditions for sustained interference of light? Okay, we have to maintain this interference of light, and what are the conditions for that? The intensity must be maximum and zero at the points corresponding to constructive and destructive interference to obtain perfect interference. See, if you want constructive interference pattern, the intensity must be maximum. If you want destructive interference pattern, the intensity must be zero. The following conditions must fulfill to obtain well defined and observable interference. So what are these conditions? First, frequency of light emanating from two interferencing sources must be same. Their frequency must be same. Okay, if their frequency is not same, the phase difference between the interference waves will vary continuously. Consequently, the resultant intensity at any point will vary with time alternately maximum and minimum. So what is the first condition? That the two waves interfering must have same frequency. Second, amplitude of interfering waves must be same or must be equal. If this condition is not satisfied, the minimum intensity will be zero, so the contrast of the fringes form will not be good. So second condition is amplitude should also be equal. Third, the distance between the two coherent sources should be small as much as possible. The distance between the constructive dark or bright fringes is inversely proportional to distance between the two sources. Hence, fringes of maximum and minimum intensity will lie so close together that the fringes will not be separately visible. Okay, so if the distance between the two coherent sources is not small, then you will not be able to see a clear and fine interference pattern. Okay, so what three conditions till now we have seen? The interfering waves must have a same frequency, they are should be of equal amplitude, the distance between them should be small. Okay, next, the two sources should be narrow. A broad source is equivalent to a large number of fine sources lying side by side. Each pair of fine sources will give its own interference pattern. The fringes of different interference pattern will overlap, causing a general illumination. Okay. Next, the two interfering waves must be propagated along the same line. In this condition is if this condition is not satisfied, the vibrations will not be along a common line. Okay, so these all things we should consider to have a fine interference pattern. Okay, we'll move to next. So now, what is photons, particles, or wave? It is a question. So, what exactly photons are? Photons, we have, I think in 12 we have seen the definition that photons are bundles and bundles of light, and sometimes they act as particles, sometimes they act as wave. Newton believed that light was a particle. So here, from here, I think the dual nature of light has taken the birth, or the concept has taken the birth. Okay, here you can see in the picture, see, in the first picture there is picture of Isaac Newton, and then particles result in see travel they in straight line. You can see the source of light, that is bulb, and the light rays are traveling in same line. So here it is, if we consider light rays as particle, then they travel in straight line. Then in second picture also, you have seen the green source or that purple source, and lights are traveling in a straight line. Or many a times, if you attend some party, or we see in movies, the clubs and all, there also we can see the condition same as in third figure. Okay, then in the shown below shown picture, what is it? See, the first in the first picture, what is given? The drop of that liquid, it is bouncing over the surface and creating the waves. Okay, so see, if that bouncing drop na, sometimes it after some time it will lose its energy, and it will get merged into that liquid, and damp oscillation like something will happen there, and then everything will be still. Okay, but I would like to make you introduced with a concept. If somebody of you have not think over also it, if what if the oscillating or the oscillations of that droplet is continues, so it will give birth to pilot waves. So that was my dissertation topic at MSc. So as a part of interest also, you guys can think of it. Okay, or can search about it. So in the next Young's double slit experiments, something is given there, that light propagation direction is given, then coherent sunlight from single slit it is given, and then it will form the constructive interference, and something forms destructive interference, and the screen is shown, and below that the interference is shown. Okay, then is wave band to produce sources, it is shown. Then many of these figures are shown here to clear your few ideas about what is interference. Okay, so what is Huygens principle explains diffraction? So Sir Huygens tried to explain the diffraction phenomena. So Huygens assumed that light is a form of wave motion rather than a stream of particles. So see, Huygens, Sir Newton considered the light as a particle, and Huygens considered is a wave. So Huygens principle is a geometric construction for determining position of a new wave at some point based on knowledge of the wave front that preceded it. Means based on the previous or preceding wave front, we can point out the position of a new wave. Okay, the next, all points on a given wave front are taken as a point sources for production of spherical secondary waves called wavelets, which propagate in forward direction with speeds characteristic of waves in that medium. Okay, so what we will consider the point sources as a sorry All points on a given wavefront are considered to be point source for production of next spherical secondary waves. Okay, this should be always remember. Questions are asked about this line. Okay, so after some time has elapsed, a new position of wavefront is the surface tangent to the wavelets. As you might expect, heuristic idea of hygienes can be fully justified through various derivations associated with the Maxwell's equation. So we will study all these things in due course of time. I think you all have studied the hygienes principle in 12th standard pretty well. We are just revising it. Now, what is diffraction? Diffraction is, in short, bending of light rays from edge of or corner of some substance, and it's called diffraction. Okay, so diffraction is why we are studying now diffraction. So diffraction is why we can hear sounds even though we are not in a straight line from the source. What happens in our hearing context? Whenever we speak, if there is a hurdle or there is an obstacle, the wave will travel and then it will bombard on that obstacle and then it will travel back and we can hear the sound. Okay, so it is that clear ki why we can hear sound? Because of the diffraction. Okay, sound waves will diffract around doors, corners and other barriers. Okay, so amount of diffraction depends on wavelength. I'm sorry. Okay, so the amount of diffraction depends on wavelength, which is why we can hear around corners but not see around them. Okay, so what is single slit diffraction? Now we will see. According to Hygiene's principle, each portion of the slit acts as source of light waves. We have seen all points are considered to be point sources for the construction of secondary wavelets. So it is like, according to Hygiene's principle, each portion of the slit acts as a source of light waves. Therefore, light from one portion of the slit can interfere with light from another portion. The resultant light intensity on a viewing screen depends on the direction. The direction of pattern is actually a interference pattern. The diffraction pattern is actually a interference pattern. Now we will move towards what is polarization. So if your waves are traveling in random direction and if you applied a Polaroid, then they will travel in one direction. This is the simple technique behind the polarization is. So polarization is the characteristics of all transverse waves. So oscillation which takes place in transverse wave in many different directions is said to be unpolarized. Okay, I have just abruptly said you that light traveling in all direction is put into is made to travel in one direction is nothing but a polarization. And in an unpolarized transverse wave, oscillations may take place in any direction at right angles to the direction in which the wave travels. So we just want to make it oscillate only in one direction, and it is can be done with qualities of Polaroid, different types of Polarids if we use. So I think in chemistry you have studied about this polarization of light, maybe in 12th standard. Okay, so that's all about the today's topic. What we have covered today is, what we have seen today is interference of light, then what is photons, they are particles or light, and what is diffraction, and then what is polarization. Okay, so in minimum time we have tried to cover these concepts. We will study later all those things in detail. So till then, have a nice day and keep studying. Have a happy learning. Thank you.